A very good evening to all my dear students. Once again, on behalf of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I welcome each one of you for today's live virtual revisionary class over here. So we have already done chapter 1 to 6 revision, and today we are going to start the revision of chapter number 7, that is management and administration. So I hope you all have revised your notes, the PPTs, the questions, and sit attentively with your registers and pens in hands, and there will be lots of questions for you to answer in today's session. So let me see all those who have joined the session. Good evening, Geeta, Navneet, Lakesh, Lavanya, all of you. Welcome to the class. All right. So I hope no doubts till the previous chapters we have completed till share capital and debentures were done, prospectus along with that. After that, we did deposits and registration of charges. And today we are going to do the biggest chapter, that is management and administration. So here we'll be having certain number of MCQs and question and answers. But before that, if you want me to take you through certain particular topics, we can have a detailed discussion about that also. Good evening, Rajveer Ray. Welcome to the class. So let me test your knowledge first before we proceed ahead. So management and administration is all about how the registers of the members have to be maintained, how the AGM is to be held. One is annual general meeting and another one is, you all have to name it. What do we call the other type of meeting of the shareholders? One is AGM and the another is under section 100. Excellent, very good. EGM, that is extraordinary general meeting. So why do we need to conduct extraordinary general meeting? When we have AGM, what is the need for AGM? So special business. Excellent, Rajveer. So since Rajveer has mentioned about the term special business, so can you let me know what is the meaning of ordinary business versus special business? So if there is any special business, that means there is some ordinary business also. So what is the difference between ordinary business and special business? Who is going to answer me this one? So management and administration in detail talks about all these types of businesses that we transact in the general meeting, and generally in the AGM we have ordinary business transactions, and there are 4 types of ordinary business. Yes, very good, Lavanya. It is conducted every year. Appointment of auditors and directors, Rajveer Ray. Excellent. What else? What are the 4 ordinary businesses that we transact in these meetings? So the 4 types of ordinary business, if you want, let's have a quick recap of our chapter so that we can discuss important provisions and then we can quickly come to the question and answers round. All of you have answered correctly about the ordinary businesses. So let me show you once. So the ordinary business is actually defined under section 102 when we had a discussion about the explanatory statement which is to be attached with the notice. All your financial statements and reports are considered over here, declaration of any dividend, appointment of directors, and appointment and fixing of the remuneration of auditors. Somebody is writing about the fixing of remuneration of directors also. No, you have to be very, very careful. What is it actually talking about? So the 4 type of businesses specifically includes about the appointment of directors, appointment and remuneration of auditors, declaration of dividend, consideration of financial statements and reports. Now children, these kind of tiny topics might be very simpler, but we have to remember them because 2 marker or 3 marker or maybe an MCU can come out of these kind of things because it's very, very important topic. So the major 4 ordinary businesses that are transacted on the general meeting, but if any kind of business apart from this 4 has to be transacted, what do we need to call for that? We need to call an EGM for that, and that type of business is known as a special businesses. So all the businesses shall deem to be special businesses that are transacted at the extraordinary general meeting. And these 4 businesses are transacted in AGM, but there can be special business also in the AGM. So AGM में special and ordinary business दोनों हो सकते हैं, but in the EGM we always have the special business. Is that correct? So let's have a quick recap of extraordinary general meeting as well as the AGM. So what is AGM all about? AGM is held once annual general meeting. नाम से पता लग रहा है, once in every year. So what is the time period for the first AGM to be held? Quickly answer me. I will not be teaching you. I'll be simply asking you questions because it's a revisionary and I assume that you all have learned it well by now. So the first AGM has to be held within 9 months. Very good, Mr. Ram, Rajveer. Great, excellent. 9 months from the end of what? From the end of the first financial year. And if the meeting is not held in the year of incorporation, even if it is held within 9 months from the end of first financial year, then also it is fine. And when is the subsequent AGM needs to be held? 6 months from the close of the financial year. So it is not necessary to hold in the year of incorporation, but this time period has to be met. What is the time gap that should be there between 2 AGMs? If I give you an MCQ, 10 months, 12 months, 9 months, or 15 months. What is the time gap that should be there between 2 AGMs? 15 months. Lokesh Lavanya, the first one to answer. Very good. Excellent. Kuldeep Nagar, very good. 15 months time period. Excellent, Rajveer. 6 months, and yes, extension of 3 months can be given only if there are special reasons. Then the AGM can be extended beyond 6 months also, but it cannot go beyond 3 months. After this, the AGM has to be called during business hours, that is 9 to 5, 9 to 6, that is considered, and not on a national holiday. So can I call my AGM of the company on Sunday? Yes or no? Since we're not supposed to call it on a national holiday, but can we have? Yes, Sunday is not a national holiday, so Sunday ko bhi meeting ho sakti hai. Only the 3 days, that is 15th August, 26th January and 2nd October are considered to be the national holiday. On these 3 days, AGM cannot be held. Apart from these 3 days, any day during the business hours, that is 9 to 6 p.m., you can call the meeting. Where does the meeting needs to be held? At the registered office or any other place where the RO is situated. If you have taken the consent in writing, then in case of unlisted company, you can hold it at any other place also. Same applies for the government company also. After that, Section 97, what does Section 96? Section 96 typically talks about the AGM, all those provisions that you have learned. Section 97 simply tells you that if any default is made in calling the AGM, then the members will make a requisition to the tribunal. They will file an application and the meeting called by the tribunal shall deem to be the annual general meeting. Similarly, tribunal has the power either given by the articles or by suo motu or on the application made by directors. They can also call the extraordinary general meeting. So 97 gives you the tribunal the power to call the annual general meeting. 98 gives them the power to call the extraordinary general meeting. And if any default is made in contravention of 96, 97, 98, then the penalty that has to be filed will be maximum 1 lakh for the officer in default has to be filed and 5,000 for every day during which the default continues. Now children, MGT has so many penalties, but such kind of penalties which are related to AGM, annual return, EGM are very important one which you should mark them, and I keep telling you all the penalties, keep writing down on a piece of paper. Stick that paper on the front page of each chapter so that the day of revision you're just going through the penalties, ek nazar maar lena. Just have a what do you call that? Instead of not doing it, at least you can have a look at all the penalties stated at one place of a particular chapter, because these kind of questions can be there in the MCQs. All right, after that, you remember section 101 about the notice, explanatory statement, then we have quorum, chairman, proxies. We won't be discussing in detail about votings, but if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Section 106 to 110 entirely deals with the votings, resolution, minutes, inspection, and the maintenance of the documents. So some context before the meeting and some context during the meeting and post meeting has to be taken care of. So what is all about the notice? You remember what is the clear days? 14 days notice has to be given for the meetings, or it is 21 days. Tell me, for the notice provision, how many days, clear days notice has to be given under section 101? It is always 21 clear days. And what is the meaning of 21 clear days? Yes, you use the word clear days. Very good, Lavanya and Rajveer. Clear days means the day when it is posted and the day when the meeting is to be held are both to be excluded from that number of counting of the days. Section 100 simply tells you about the EGM and when the requisition has to be held. The question I wanted to ask my students over here is, within how many days the board must convene the extraordinary general meeting within dash days? Within how many days? Very good, Kuldeep Nagar. All your answers are correct. Within 21 days, they should be calling the meeting, and by when the meeting should have been held? Within 45 days from the date of requisition. And what if, children, if the directors fail to call the meeting, they have not convened the meeting in 45 days, then what can the requisitions do? Within a period of 3 months from the date of requisition, they can themselves call this meeting. And all the expenditures incurred by the requisition, who is shareholders or the company? Who will reimburse it? It has to be reimbursed by the company. Why? Because directors and the companies were supposed to call it. So it will be deducted from the fees of the directors. Very good. Reimbursement has to be done by the directors. Excellent. Excellent. All of you have answered this one also correctly. All right. So let's have a quick recap of notice. That is section 101. You have already mentioned 21 days clear notice. That is great. But if we want to give shorter notice, is there any provision? Can we give the shorter notice for the meeting? That means less than 21 days. Is it possible? Yes, if 95% of the members who are entitled to vote have given their consent in writing. This is in case of AGM. What is in the case of EGM? All the members' approval. No, Rajveer, not all the members. It is 95%. Good, Lokesh and Kuldeep, correct answer. But in case of an EGM, if the company is having a share capital and the company is not having a share capital, the company which is having a share capital, there the number of members entitled to vote representing 95% of the paid up share capital. However, if the company is not having share capital, then 95% of the total voting power. Simple. Share capital hai to 95% of the share capital. Otherwise, it is the voting right that we use the vote in exchange of the share capital. Clear? So shorter notice is very, very important. You must remember this provision of shorter notice. Then it is very, very simple. The date, place, hour, everything should be stated in the notice. To whom all the notice has to be sent? A company's general meeting is being held and the notice has to be given, number one, to every member. Obviously, you're inviting the shareholders. So member or the legal representative of the deceased member or the official assignee of the insolvent member. Then whom would you like to call? The audit and the auditors of the company and every director of the company. It is not saying only the independent director or the proposed director or some other director, every director of the company. So very important, members, auditors and directors, everybody shall be sent the notice of the meeting. And then Rule 18 simply talks about the modes of sending the notice electronic way. So my simple question to my students is, if email has been addressed correctly to the person and due to the inbox limit full of the receiver, he did not get the notice of the meeting, can the company be held liable for this default? Yes or no? No. Very good, because once the notice has been sent correctly in the electronic mode, it is considered to be sent. It is your mistake if you're not able to receive it correctly. So it can be sent as an email, as a text, as an attachment, or by electronic link, any other modes. After that, section 102, we just had a discussion about the ordinary and special businesses. What else section 102 tells you? Section 102 tells you that along with the notice, a detailed explanatory statement has to be given that what kind of concern, what kind of nature of the topics that we are going to discuss in the general meeting. Why? Because it is very important for a shareholder to consider it, because then only I'll be able to decide whether it is a matter of concern for me or not. So the nature of concern or interest or financial interest for every director and manager, KMPs, relatives, and any other information that help them to take a decision whether we want to join this meeting or not has to be disclosed if the special business is to be transacted at the company's general meeting. For the annual general meeting, ordinary businesses, we simply send you the notice. For special businesses, 102 section becomes applicable where AGM is going to be held. There can be AGM also for special business, okay? And if you do not disclose this, insufficient disclosure has been made, then any benefit that has been accrued to the promoter, director or KMP, such person hold benefit in the trust will be liable to compensate to the company for the extent of benefit. Means now whatever benefit that you have received by not disclosing these facts, it will be assumed that you are holding this benefit on behalf of the company and you owe this to the company. That means you need to return, you shall be liable to pay it back to the company. Clear, everyone? After that, penalty for provisions of section 102. If you fail to comply this, 50,000 or 5 times the amount of benefit. Can you imagine such a big severe penalty? So these kinds of penalties are very, very important. And I just now told you no explanatory statement is required for transacting ordinary business. Is that clear to everyone? Section 102 is again important. You must revise it completely. Now comes your interesting part of the topic, that is quorum for the meeting. How many members should be there? Quorum means the minimum number of members. I'm helping you to revise so that the MCQs and question answers you can immediately answer me when I ask you. So in case of a public company, if there are number of members that is 4,000, then how many members personally present will be considered as quorum? If the number of members are 4,000, good Nikhil Kumar. Very good. Lokesh, Kuldeep, Lavanya, 15 members. Nagaraja. Very good. Everybody is answering today. 15 members is absolutely correct answer. And if it is a private company, then how many members do I need to invite if I'm having 200 members? If I'm having 8 members, so ma'am, whatever is the number of members, the private company has a fixed limit of 2 members personally present. That's it. And if the quorum is not present, meeting stands adjourned. And within how much time the quorum should be present? Within 24 hours, half an hour, 1 hour, or 3 hours? Within half an hour from the time fixed for the meeting. 30 nahi likhna Kuldeep Nagar, 30 likhoge to 30 minutes. Okay? Half an hour. Very good, Gayatri. All right. If the quorum is not present, then the meeting stands adjourned. And then in case of the adjourned meeting, not less than 3 days notice has to be given to the members individually, or in the advertisement will be done in the newspaper about what? That the meeting has been adjourned at this date, time and place, whatever you have fixed. And again, if the quorum is not present within half an hour of the adjourned meeting, then the members present will be counted as quorum. Very important question for the MCQ based. He'll not give you directly, he'll give you a big case study to analyze. So you have to read it very carefully. What is the examiner asking you? So I keep telling you, whenever there is an MCQ based case study, just close your eyes and think about the topic, what we have learned on those pages, what was important context in those pages. And when we try to recall, you'll remember that if in the adjourned meeting quorum is not present, members present shall form the meeting. क्योंकि वो जो options होंगी ना वो confusing होंगी. Answer thought करके रखना है. First think about the answer that comes to your mind and then read the options given in the MCQs. You'll never make a mistake. Okay, so the members present shall form the meeting. Can AO provide for the larger number of quorum? Yes or no? Yes, but it can never provide for the lesser number of quorum. If a person representing a body corporate, a shareholder is present, then he shall be personally considered to be present. Where one member is representing two companies, he will be counted as one or two members. Very good. He'll be counting as two members. Great. And I just now told you that in the adjourned meeting, quorum is not present, then the members present shall form the quorum. So if the quorum was supposed to be 15, but in the adjourned meeting, only 5 of them turned up, then 5 of them will be counted as quorum. But if only one member turned up, then will he be counted as the quorum? No, because minimum 2 members. Excellent. ओके नागराजा, मिनिमम 2 मेंबर्स है, मेंबर्स लिखा है ना, मेंबर अकेला क्या कोरम बनेगा? एक प्रोविजन है जहां पे अलोन मेंबर इज आल्सो कंसिडर्ड. आई विल टेल यू, आई थिंक सेक्शन 112 and 13 will explain about that. Minimum 2. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Lokesh, Lavanya, Nagaraja. Excellent, everybody. Single person. Answer is no. One person is still required because minimum 2 person constitute the quorum of the meeting. Proxies are counted for the quorum? No, ma'am. Proxies are never counted in the quorum. Presence of a single member is never counted. Chairman of the meeting is very, very simple. No need to go through this. Proxies is now your next favorite topic. That is 105. Everyone remember a proxy? So in the college, you all have been marking proxies for each other. Means a substitute if somebody is absent and you mark their attendance. That is the proxy. So similarly, a proxy is a person who has the right to attend and vote at the meeting if another member is not able to come. But he does not have any right to speak at the meeting. He cannot vote by show of hands. He cannot vote by electronic vote. Only and only the proxies can vote in case of dash votes. In case the voting is happening by poll. Proxy is entitled to vote only when there is a vote by poll. And for how many number of members you can act as a proxy? A person cannot act as a proxy for the members exceeding 50 and having the prescribed number of share capital. So what is that? So proxy cannot be appointed. You can be appointed as a proxy, but not exceeding 50 and holding the aggregate not more than 10% of the paid up share capital. Now this is very, very important provision. When the question comes from these kind of things related to proxy. So if I am appointing you a proxy for Mr. A, B and C and D, for 4 members of my company, they are appointing you Mr. X as the proxy, and these 4 members are holding 12% of the share capital of the company. So A is holding 5%, B is holding 3%, he is holding 2%, and D is holding 2%. So can you be appointed, Mr. X be appointed as the proxy for all these 4 people? So the provision says that at least 50 members के लिए आप appoint हो सकते हो, plus they are holding less than 10% of the total share capital. So since he are holding together 12%, so he can be appointed as a proxy for A, B and C or A, B and D, but not for 4 of them. It's not possible. If Mr. A himself is holding 50% of the share capital, then if you have appointed Mr. X as a proxy for A, he cannot be appointed for anybody else. Okay. And then what is the appointment of proxy will be filled in which form number? All the form numbers difficult to learn and remember, but proxy is easy to remember. MGT 11, section 105. So 1 person and 1 together they make MGT 11. A proxy form has to be received at least 48 hours before the meeting. Articles can provide for a longer period, but even if they provide for a longer period, at least 48 hours before the meeting shall be valid. After that, can you inspect the proxy form? Every member entitled to vote any resolution has the right to inspect the proxy beginning from 24 hours before the time fixed for the meeting, ending with the conclusion of the meeting. They can inspect any time during the business hours, provided 3 days notice in advance has been given for this inspection. So if the meeting starts on 14th March at 11 a.m., what will be the inspection time? Then at least 3 days before 11th March तक उसको notice दे देना चाहिए that we want to inspect. Inspection can be done 24 hours before 14th March, that is 13th March, 11 a.m. till the meeting continues. Let's assume the meeting continues till 6 p.m. So from 13th March, 11 a.m. till 14th March, 6 p.m. Inspection can be done only and only during business hours. Very, very important. Can he come and inspect at 2 a.m. in the morning during this time period? The answer is a big no. Only 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is considered to be the business hours. Only during that period you can come and inspect the proxy forms. Is that clear? After that, any doubts in the votings? Voting by show of hands, voting by electronic mode, since it's a revisionary, so we cannot have go through of all the voting sessions also. After the votings, what is more important? We will come back to this. Let's have some rounds of the MCQs and question and answers. Let me judge your knowledge, how well you have been preparing for your exams. So the first question in front of you on the screen, read it out and type your answers. So AGM was held on 31st August 2022. Suppose the chairman after 2 days went abroad for next 31 days due to the unavailability within the time prescribed for submission of the copy of report of AGM. The report was signed by 2 directors, of which one is additional director. Comment on the signing of the AGM report. Signing is in the order as the report can be signed by any director. No, signing is not in order, only chairman is authorized. Yes, the signing is in order. In the absence of chairman, 2 directors should sign. No, the signing is not in order. Since the chairman is unable to sign, the report shall be signed by 2 directors. One of them shall be MD, if there is one, and company secretary of the company. What is the correct answer for this one? Somebody is saying C, somebody is saying D. So what is the correct answer? Okay, Mr. Sid, very good. Excellent, all of you. Section 121 simply talks you about the report on AGM. So report on AGM tells you has to be signed by the chairman and company secretary. In the absence of him, the 2 directors, 1 MD and 1 CS. Now, how do you have to remember the section? How do you remember the section? Remember the common seat where 2 directors, if the company secretary is there, then the company secretary. If you want, I will show you where we have done 121. So these kind of things, children, are very, very important. You must give it a reading a day before the exam because it's a normal human tendency. You tend to forget these things, but if you have read it again and again, it really helps you to recall. See, within 30 days of the conclusion of the meeting, the report has to be submitted, and this report that you are submitting shall be signed by the Rule 31. I have written over here, referred the study material. So it typically talks about your signing of the AGM report has to be done. If the chairman is not there, then at least 2 directors, one of them shall be MD and company secretary of the company shall sign it. Clear everyone? The MCQ 1 is clear. Let's do the second one. AGM shall be called by giving 21 clear days notice. However, if it cannot be called by giving shorter notice, the members entitled to vote at the meeting give their consent in electronic mode. And how many members have to give their consent? 75, 90, 91%, 95% of the members entitled to vote. Excellent. Everybody has given the correct answer for this one. 95% of the members who are entitled to vote. So answer number 2D is the correct option. As per section 101, AGM may be held by giving a shorter notice. At least 25% members in writing or by electronic mode should have given their consent. All right. Due to management disputes, FWI Limited could not hold its current AGM by the latest due date. Even after the lapse of the due date, it seemed rather impossible to convene the AGM. In such a situation, one option was to the NCLT and seek the direction. Out of the following 4 options, which one is applicable? Any member can make an application to the NCLT and seek direction for calling AGM. A member at least holding 1% of the paid up share capital, ऐसा तो कभी था ही नहीं. We have never read it like this. Again at least 1%, again at least 1%, minimum 5 members. अब ऐसे questions में we try to find out the negative one is clicked no, and the positive one that we think could be possible. Like Lavanya has already answered without even reading the options. Very good, Lavanya, Lokesh, Mr. Sid, excellent. So ऐसे वाले cases में ना यहाँ तो है ही नहीं ना, हमने कुछ पढ़ा है ऐसा section 97 में. No, it was never ever there. So if the company fails to call the AGM, tribunal either make on the application, call the AGM and give such directions as it thinks fit. Does the tribunal has the right suo motu also to call the meeting? In case under section 98, where EGM is being called, there he can suo motu also call the meeting or on the application made by any of the member. Clear? Everybody got the third MCQ right? That's great. Very good, Kuldeep, Nagar, Nikhil. Excellent, everybody. Now let's do the fourth one. A resolution shall be a special resolution when the votes cast in favor are not less than the number of votes cast against twice, 3 times, 3/4 or 2/3. What should be the correct answer? Where has it gone? Okay. Excellent. 3 times is the correct answer. It is never 3/4. We always say the votes casted in favor should be 3 times the vote casted against it. Okay, so B 3 times is the correct answer. Alright, every listed company shall file with the registrar a copy of the report on each AGM within the conclusion of AGM. Within how many days? So you have to submit the copy of report. Abhi padha humne section 121. A copy has to be filed within 30 days in MGT 15. Right? Everybody got this right? All right. MCQ 6th, read it out and try to answer it. MGT 7A. We have not revised section 92, but yes, everybody. MGT 7A. It's about annual return. Very nice. Small company, associate, subsidiary, or dormant company. Excellent. That other company is a small company. Very good. A is the correct answer. So annual return has to be filed with the form MGT 7A. Mr. Ram, why did you answer B? Associate, subsidiary and dormant companies के लिए MGT 7 है. 7A is only for OPC and small company will file the annual return from 2021 in form MGT 7A. Now, since we are talking about annual return, section 92, have you learned anything about MGT 8 also? Was there anything related to MGT 8? Can anyone recall and tell me what was that certificate that you have to take from a CS in practice in MGT 8 form? Yes, who remembers? For others, I'm ready to have a quick recap of section 92 also. Since we had a question related to this, let's revise section 92, annual general meeting. Oh, sorry, annual return. So every company will prepare the annual return by when? Has to be prepared and submitted within how many days the annual return has to be filed? Kuldeep and Ram, excellent for the listed company provisions. Great. Annual return has to be filed in MGT 7 as well as OPC and small company will file it in MGT 7A within how many days? Yes, I'm waiting for your answers. Very good. Within 60 days from the date when the AGM is held, and if no AGM is held, it's from the 60 days from the day when the AGM was supposed to be held. Kuldeep is answering 30 days. No, Nagaraja Lavanya, correct. And if you fail to file, then there is a penalty. But before that, I wanted to show you MGT 8. So annual return has to be signed by a director as well as by the company secretary in practice. If 1% OPC shall be signed by the company secretary, no CS, then by the director of the company. Now, for a listed company or a company having a paid up share capital of 10 crore or more, and a turnover of 50 crore, this shall be certified by CS in practice stating that all the facts have been correctly disclosed. And this certificate has to be given in the form number MGT8. So MGT8 is very important. देखो अब annual return MGT7 and 7 है तो by default learn हो ही जाता है because we do it so many times. We have MCQs, we have questions related to it. So you should remember MGT8 also because the question can be striked at the MGT8. So paid up share capital of 10 crores or more or turnover of 50 crores or more, a certificate has to be taken by CS in practice. Clear? After that, there is a penalty for the default, which can go maximum of 2 lakhs for the officer in default, as well as for the company. And the company secretary in practice shall also be liable for a penalty of 2 lakh rupees. इस करके MGT8 important हो जाता है because CS in practice से आपने certify कराया है. If he also does it without following section 92, then he will also be liable for 2 lakh rupees penalty. Clear? Section 94, you remember the place of keeping and inspecting of the registers and returns. It has to be kept at the RO office, can be inspected during business hours and not less than 2 hours on any working day has to be allowed under section 94 to inspect the registers and returns and all the annual returns. The period for which the registers have to be maintained is 8 years, preserved permanently the register of members, permanently register of debenture holders is for a period of 8 years, annual return and copies also 8 years from the date of filing it with the ROC. And if any member asks for the copies, extracts has to be given within 7 days of after depositing the fees. Again, there is a penalty if you make any default in maintaining the registers or to be done. 95 section is simple. 96 we have already done. Now, since we have opened the presentation, we have revised annual return. Any doubts you have in section 88 and 89 also? Okay, then quickly tell me, there are 3 type of registers of members, debenture holders and security holders. In what form we maintain the register of members? MGT1, debenture holders MGT2 and other security holders also MGT2. If the number of members are more than 50, then do we need to have the index? Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. If members are more than 50, I asked you this MCQ in the previous class also. Indexation has to be done. Index has to be maintained. Okay, and if you're keeping it at the RO, other than that, then more 1/10 of the total number of members should be residing in that city and village where you're keeping the register of members, and the entries have to be made within 7 days of the approval of the board of directors. Can we have foreign registers? Yes, ma'am. A company, if authorized by its articles, can keep in any country outside India part of the register of members, all those beneficial owners who are resident of that particular country. So if my members are residing in US, where my articles give me permission, I can maintain a foreign register in US also. And within 30 days of opening this foreign register, MGT3 has to be filed with the ROC. You will always inform the ROC that we have opened up the foreign register in any outside country so that ROC knows about your different register of members to be maintained. In case you have discontinued, then also you tell them in the MGT3 that we have discontinued. Foreign register is always part of your company's main register. Transmission of every copy. Once you make the entry in foreign register, within 15 days after that entry has been made, copy of that entry will also be made at the RO office. And again, if you're discontinuing, you have to intimate all the entries will be transferred of the company kept outside India to the principal register. Again, there is a penalty for section 88, which you can go through. After that, we had discussed declaration in respect of beneficial interest of any shares. Who is a beneficial owner? Children, there can be one who is a registered owner of the shares and there can be a beneficial owner. So if you're not holding beneficial interest, any person holding beneficial interest in the shares of the company or any change in the beneficial interest, all those things, if you're not holding a beneficial owner means you're the registered owner of the shares. If you're a registered owner of the shares or you're a beneficial owner or there is any change in the beneficial owner, all these interests have to be given within 30 days filed with the ROC and company will file it with the ROC in 30 days. So first Mr. A, who is the registered owner of the shares, he will go and tell the company in 30 days that I am the registered owner, company will file it with the ROC. Mr. A is the registered owner, but he has made his son, Mr. B, the beneficial owner. Then Mr. B will go to the company and tell that I'm the beneficial owner, and then they will file this with the ROC in next 30 days. If either of them do not give this declaration under Section 89, then if there are any benefits or dividend and rights that they get, they will not get these rights because if they have made a default, then no rights can be enforced by them later on. So if you have failed to make the declaration by the beneficial owner, then any right with respect to shares cannot be enforced by the beneficial owner or by any person claiming through him. कोई भी लोग ये नहीं आगे पूछ सकते कि हम अब अपने आपके राइट्स अब नहीं क्लेम कर सकते, बट कंपनी की ड्यूटी रहेगी डिविडेंड पे करने के लिए. दैट इज अनफेक्टेड. All right, everybody is clear. Now, who is SBO, significant beneficial owner? Section 90 tells you about the significant beneficial owner. So one is the registered owner. Under Section 89, we have learned that registered owner will also go and make a declaration with the company. Company will file it with the ROC in next 30 days. And beneficial owner will also make a declaration and that will also be filed with the ROC by the company. But who is a significant beneficial owner? I've closed the screen so that you can answer me the question directly. Anybody would like to raise their hands and tell us who is a significant beneficial owner? I give you a hint. Who is holding directly or indirectly? 4 things you have to answer me. Holding directly or indirectly, dash, holding directly or indirectly, dash. What is that? Without copying, who is going to raise their hand? 10% of what, Ram? 10% is fine. 10% of what? Voting powers. Okay, Kuldeep Nagar says voting power. Just that's it. Anybody would like to raise their hand and answer this one? Yes, Mr. Sid, Geeta, Ram, Rajbir, Kuldeep. Who will raise their hands? Very good location. Individually acting directly or indirectly, holding 10% of what? Again, everybody's stuck. All right, let's revise. Significant beneficial owner means a person who is either alone or together with somebody is holding directly or indirectly at least 10% of the shares of the company or at least 10% of the voting rights in the company. He's entitled to at least 10% of the distributable dividends or has the right to exercise the significant influence through any way other than the direct holdings alone. So in any ways, if he's exercising significant influence on you or holding 10% of the voting powers shares or the 10% of the dividend, then he is known as a significant beneficial owner. All right, and Section 90 in detail tells you about how this significant beneficial owner will get himself registered and what will be the consequences if he has not done the registration. Is that correct? Can we move ahead to the MCQs? All right. MCQ number 7 in front of you on the screen. Now we have revised these also, so answer it very carefully. Awareness Limited's general meetings are held at its RO situated in Delhi. Minutes we have not revised. I've kept something still pending. Section 111 to 121 also will go through once we are done with certain questions. Minute books will be kept at the place where the members will decide or the place where all the employees will decide, RO of the office, that place where senior officials will decide. ऐसा तो कभी नहीं हमने पढ़ा senior officials decide करते हो. हाँ? So RO office is the best one. Nagaraja, Lokesh, Kuldeep, excellent. Everybody is correct. Section 119. नहीं भी पढ़ा हुआ किसी ने. Lavanya and Ram said everybody is correct. Then also you can answer this. Every company will prepare and keep the minute books at the RO office. Minute books of every general meeting has to be kept at the RO office. Okay, answer me this one. AGM was held on 25th June 22. According to the provisions, till what date the company will submit the report to the AGM to the registrar? Again, 121 has to be applied. Carefully answer me this one. What is the correct date? The summary of the report has to be prepared. Everybody says C, correct? D is the correct answer, children. Everybody has said C and B. 30 days पूरे गिनने हैं बेटा. Lokesh, good. Why ma'am? Why ma'am means 30 days गिनो बेटा. Nagaraja. 25th June से 30 days. Report has to be filed with the ROC within 30 days of conclusion of AGM in form MGT 15. How many days are you having over here? 25th June. June is the month of 30 days. So 5 days and then balance 25 days to 25th July 2022 is the correct answer. From the end of the AGM 25th June के बाद 30 days अगर आप गिनोगे तो it will be 25th July. Those who are counting 24 they are counting 25th also. From the end उस दिन तो AGM खत्म हुआ ना बेटा. Till what date the company can submit? 30 days from this. तो exact 30 days इसके बाद जो आएंगे that will be 25th July. Alright, clear everyone? Ram is writing June has 31 days. Are you serious? Remember, you used to do like this January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Ram, on your knuckles. All right, it's okay, it's okay. Geeta says clear. Nagaraja is still saying no, ma'am, it's not clear. Nagaraja, what is the doubt? Tell me. Lavanya also answered T. Geeta also. Geeta is now clear. Okay. Why are you counting from 25th Nagaraja? I'm saying count from 26th beta from the end of the AGM. उस दिन तो meeting खत्म हुआ ना Mr. Nagaraja. You have ended the meeting. How can you count from the date of the meeting? Are you understanding? Count it from 26. Then you'll get the date 25th. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 5 days plus 25 more 30 days. Okay? Alright. Amber Limited is a manufacturer of glassware. Its paid-up share capital is divided into 2 lakh shares of rupees 100 each. Company is maintaining its register as per the provisions. They want to close their registers. Quickly tell me the answer for this one. Everybody in the chat box will answer. Everyone has answers. कहाँ चला गया? So the company wanted to close its register of members for declaring dividend. By how many minimum days notice it has to give? So 7 days notice has to be given. Remember this provision of 45 days and 30 days, or you want me to show it to you from the study material? Very good, Gayatri. Sith, I've given the correct answer. Somebody is writing 15 days. I don't know why. Somebody is saying we cannot close the register. Why? Nikhil, correct. Okay. Remember this provision of 45 days and 30 days? Who will explain me the meaning of this line, 45 days and 30 days? Means you can close your register for maximum 45 days, but it cannot be consecutively together 30 days at any point of time. And whenever you're doing this closing, a previous notice of 7 days has to be given. Very good. The 10th MCQ in front of you. Once the MCQs are done, then we'll take a break and then we'll do all the case study based questions. Which of the following company is not required to provide its member the facility to exercise right to vote by electronic mode? Which of the following companies is not required to provide? B Limited, whose equity shares, company having equity and preference are listed. A Limited, whose equity one type of the share is having are listed. C, whose preference shares, company having both equity and preference are listed. D, whose equity and preference shares are listed on the recognized stock exchange. Which companies are not entitled to vote by electronic? Okay, Ram, Lavanya, Rajveer, everybody good. Kuldeep, Nagaraja, excellent. Everybody knows the answer. Every company having listed its equity share on recognized stock exchange shall provide facility to e-modes. So if you have equity in 3 of them, then they can, but preference shares are only listed. C is the correct answer because only the C company is one in which only preference is listed and equity is not listed. Therefore, they cannot provide the E modes of listing. So equity shares have to be listed on the recognized stock exchange. Then only you can provide the E means voting. All right, MCQ 11, register of members along with the index shall be preserved for a period of how many years and in the custody of whom? 8 years, CS or any other person, permanently, CS or any other person, 6 years and the CS, 10 years and the CS. So we clearly know that it is never a provision of 10 years and 6 years. Now you tell me it's 8 years or permanently. So register of members shall always be preserved permanently. See how many of you have answered 8 years. So many of you have answered 8 years. Permanently. Good, Gayatri, Lavanya, Lokesh. Good. So 2, 3 had made a mistake. So that is the thing that we have to be very, very careful. Okay, register of members is always, it was annual return that was to be maintained for 8 years. Victory Limited was incorporated in January 2015. How much expenditure they shall ensure to spend according to corporate social responsibility policy? Something related to CSR has come up now. Company will ensure to spend at least 2% of the average gross profits made during 2 preceding years. They will spend in every financial year at least 2% of the average net profits made during 3 preceding years. Spend in every financial year 1% of the average net profits, or the company will ensure to spend at least 1% of the average profits during the 3 immediately preceding. Excellent. Yes, yes, Ram, that's really true. You have to read the question carefully. Somebody's saying B, somebody's saying C. So I hope you remember because next chapter that you'll be having a revision under section 139 CSR, corporate social responsibility, you can spend at least 2% of the average net profits during the 3 preceding years. So don't worry, this ensures us that you need a quick recap of your accounts and audits also. All right, so 2, 3 more MCQs I have for you, and then we will take a break and we will jump to the case studies. In case of a private company, the quorum for the AGM is very simple. Although in the picture it is showing four people sitting on the round table just to confuse you. But if it's a private company, then two members personally present will also form the quorum. Everybody has answered this correctly. So B is the correct answer. First AGM of the general meeting should be held within dash from the first financial year. So I've highlighted it for you in green. 9 months. B is the correct answer. Correct? So can you assess yourself how well you're doing? So from my side, I'm really happy with your response, the way you have been responding to the biggest lengthy chapter of MGT. You have really done well in the MCQs, and I really want to see a good performance in your case study based questions also. So let's take a small break here so that you can just flip through the pages. In scheduled dividend and NP is not there. All right, Mr. Ram, we will take this into consideration. We'll just get it checked. Okay, don't worry. All right. So let's take a small break here and then we will proceed ahead to the studies. Yes, students, welcome back. Let's start the practice of case studies now. PQ Limited is a public company having its RO in Mumbai. It has 3,680 members. Company has sent a notice to all the members for the AGM to be held on 2nd September 2019, that is Monday at 11 a.m. at its RO office. So the meeting is to be held on 2nd September and the number of members given is 3,680. On the day of the meeting, there were only 12 members personally present. How many members should have been there, children? First of all, let me ask you, if the 3,680, then what should be the quorum of the meeting? Excellent, it should be 15. 12 members were personally present up till 11:30 a.m. Chairman has adjourned the same meeting to the same day next week at the same time and place. That is absolutely fine. On the day of adjourned meeting, only 10 members were personally present. Chairman initiated meeting after 11:30 a.m. and passed the resolutions after discussion as per the agenda. Please comment whether the AGM has been conducted after adjournment is valid or not as per section 103 by explaining the relevant provisions. Would your answer be different if it is a private limited company? Now, such a kind of question are just one or two liners, right? You will say yes, it is valid, and if it is a private company, then there is no need of adjournment only. All right, but how will you represent that answer? That is the beauty of law. That is what we need to understand. That is why we make you, help you to write the answers and revise them again and again. And the best part is they have written in the question also, please explain the relevant provision. So we will simply write section 103 तो उसने दे ही दिया क्वेश्चन में. तो अब जिनको नहीं भी याद उनको दिमाग में आ जाएगा कि 103 was for the quorum. Please give them this line that the articles can provide for larger number of quorum. If you don't remember, it's okay. But tell them that at least 15 members shall be personally present if the number of members on the date of meeting is more than 1,000 up to 5,000. This is very important thing to write in this kind of question. Then you will tell them that if the quorum is not present within half an hour, the meeting shall stand adjourned to the same time and same place in the next week. And even if the adjourned meeting quorum is not present, then the present members present shall be considered as the quorum for the meeting. Now, these three provisions have to be written in order to get marks for such a kind of question. Then you give them the facts of the case. In the instant case, only 12 members were personally present. This is not in compliance with the quorum of the as per law. Even in the adjourned meeting, the required members are not present, but it is written under the law that the members present shall be in line with the quorum in provisions of section 103. Therefore, meeting held after adjournment is valid. If it is a private company, then there the quorum will be only 2 members. Therefore, it is a private company, then only 2 members present. There is no need of adjournment. हमें सिर्फ ये लाइन पता है आंसर की ये है लाइन the only answer out of this is this adjournment is valid but and no need of adjournment of the second one. Now this conclusion is of 1 marks. These facts of the case, if it is a say for example a 6 marks question or maybe a 4 marks question, so you'll get 1 marks if you have written about this. But if you write this facts of the case, you write the 2 provisions, then only you can expect to get 4 out of 4. Clear? Writing part is very, very important, students. Okay, Kuldeep, Rajveer, well tried for the answers. Good. Let's do another case study. A general meeting was scheduled to be held on 15th April 2019 at 3 p.m. As per the notice, the members who were not able to attend the meeting has appointed a proxy, and the proxy forms filled shall be sent to the company to reach at least 48 hours before the meeting. खुद ही लिख कर दे रहा है आपको सब कुछ कहते हैं सेक्शन 105 याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है राइटिंग इट Mr. X, a member, appoints Mr. Y as his proxy. MGT 11 form was filled dated 10th April and was deposited by Mr. Y with the company at the RO office 11th April. Similarly, another member, Mr. W, also gave two separate proxies to two individuals, M and N. In case M, the proxy dated 12th April was deposited on the same day and proxy form in case of N was deposited on 14th April. All the proxies were present in the meeting. Who would be the persons allowed to present as proxies for members X and W? So X has appointed Y as the proxy and has deposited, the form has to be deposited at least 48 hours before the meeting, right? Meeting is scheduled for 15th April 2019 at 3 p.m. Tell me now, who will be considered as the proxy for X and W? X has given Mr. Y's form on 10th April 2019 and it has been given on 11th April. The proxy forms have been given on 12th and 14th April. For WM, okay, Rajveer. As per section, Lavanya, no need of section. You can simply write down provisions of the proxy form. So proxy form is an instrument in writing to be executed by the shareholders. So how will you write in a simple language? Proxy form is an instrument in writing which is giving the right of a person to attend the meeting and vote on his behalf in case he is absent from the meeting. Every shareholder entitled to attend and vote has the statutory right to appoint another person as a proxy. Is it necessary that the proxy should be a member of the company? No. But in case of Section 8 companies, children, if it is a Section 8 company, then it is compulsory that only a member can be appointed as a proxy and nobody else. Otherwise, it is not necessary proxy to be a member of the company. Further articles require the instrument proxy form has to be given 48 hours before the meeting. Members have the right to revoke proxy's authority by voting before the proxy has voted, but once it has voted, okay, this is just a general information that you cannot retract his authority. Once the proxy has voted, then you cannot create any problem. Two proxy instruments by the same shareholder are lodged in such a manner that one is lodged before and the other after the expiry of the date, the former will be counted. ठीक है ना? तो W के केस में आपने M का पहले फॉर्म दिया and not N because he has been permitted to vote because what deposited in less than 48 hours. For X, Y will be permitted to vote on his behalf because it was submitted within the permitted timeline. For X, Y has already submitted the form on 10th April, much before 48 hours. So meeting has to be held on 15th April. He has already deposited on 11th April. What is 48 hours before this? 14th April, 13th April. Here you have submitted on 11th April. So this is well in time. Here you have submitted 12th April, well in time. Any time submitted before, on or before 13th April is well in time. But here you're submitting on 14th April, then this will not be counted. So that is, but how you have to write the answers, that is very, very important. Is this point clear to everyone? Clear, Rajveer? Nagaraja, good. For X, it's valid. Yes, correct. All right. Again, your quorums are here. Provisions relating to quorum of the public company having 30 members, out of which 2 are body corporates and 1 is the President of India. Or there was a question in the exams whether the representatives appointed by body corporates and president to participate in the general meeting shall be counted as quorum and can be represented to cast votes at the general meeting. Now, this is your exactly section 112 and 113's reference. So I have not revised in today's class with you, but let me see your knowledge and then I will take you the revision of 111, 12 and 13 also. Try to answer this one. What is the correct answer for this question? Very good, Rajvi, Nagaraja, Lavanya. Good answers. Body corporates can be appointed, can appoint any person. Good. So first of all, you will tell them as per section 103, because he's asking about 30 members. Now you tell them that at least when the number of members are 30, then 5 members personally present shall be counted as the quorum, because the number of members on the date if more than 1000, then it is 15, but if it is less than 1000, then it is 5 members personally present. In the said case, 2 members are body corporate and 1 is President of India. Only the members personally present in person and not proxy are to be counted. Therefore, proxies, whether they are members or not, will have to be excluded. So proxy को तो हम count ही नहीं करेंगे. They have to be excluded. However, section 113 says if a company is a member of another company, then they can authorize by resolution to act as the representative at the meeting. Such person shall deem to be the member personally present. 112 talks about if the President of India is a member, they can also appoint any person to act as a representative in the meeting. Any person shall deem to be the member and will be counted as the member personally present. So both of them, a company, 2 members are body corporates, so 2 of them, and 1 of the person is a president, 1 can be appointed for them also. So here, having a total 30 members, so 5 are personally present, so out of which 2 members are body corporate, so 2 members for them, and 1 member for the President of India will be counted. So 3 members will be counted for them, and rest of the members will be the individuals who are personally present in the meetings. All right. Clear? Everybody is clear about this provision? All right. So let's have a quick recap of section 111 to section 121 also, so that nothing is left undone and all the topics we have covered from this chapter, so that you can comfortably answer the questions further from this chapter also. I hope no doubts in the voting process. We have already discussed all these votings when we had a previous class. In the live virtual classes, we have discussed about the postal ballots, electronic modes. Let's start from section 111, circulation of members' resolution. So resolution, you remember the decisions that you have to take at the meeting, they are known as members' resolution. So say for example, there are 6 resolutions to be passed at the meeting and one of the member wants to add one more resolution to that. Or out of the 6 resolutions, he wants some of the resolutions to be changed. So if a company on requisition in writing as given under section 100, so requisition वही same है जो section 100 में पढ़ी है, those people only can give a notice to members of any resolution which shall be properly moved. That means they're trying to add any resolution or circulate any statement with respect to the matters referred in the resolution, in proposed resolution. So either they're asking that we want this new resolution to be added that should be circulated among the members, or any changes that they're expecting, those changes along with the statement has to be circulated. This copy of resolution shall be signed by the requisitionist and deposited at the RO office. In case it is a notice of resolution, means new resolution to be added, at least not less than 6 weeks before the meeting. So minimum 6 weeks before the meeting it has to be filed. In any other case, not less than 2 weeks before the meeting. And it has to be deposited along with this, a sum of rupees or money has to be paid along. Provided that every copy of resolution requiring the notice of the resolution has been deposited and AGM is called on that week within 6 weeks after the date has been deposited, although not deposited within time, shall deem to have been properly deposited. If you have conducted the AGM within that time period, then it will be considered that it has been properly deposited. Otherwise, what is the time period? At least 6 weeks before and 2 weeks before if you're trying to conclude any changes in the meeting. But if any kind of defamatory matters you're trying to include in these kind of resolutions just to gain needless publicity or just to gather the eyes of the audience, you're trying to do such things, then company is not bound to circulate these kind of statements. And all the costs incurred by the requisitionists shall be paid to the company by the requisitionists because that they are not parties to the application. Any default, penalty of rupees 25,000 will be charged. So this section number 111 simply talks about the members' resolution. If something additional needs to be added, it can be circulated. 6 weeks and 3 weeks for a time period is important to remember, and any defamatory matters the company is not bound to circulate. After that 112, again we have just discussed president or governor of the state as a member. They can appoint any representative. Person so appointed shall deem to be the member of the company and will have the same rights to vote. Right to vote by proxy and postal ballots are also given. So they also have the right to appoint the proxies. Postal ballot votes are also given. It will be considered as if it has been exercised by the president or governor themselves. Similarly, if the body corporates are having, they have two types of meetings. One is of the companies and one is of the creditors meetings. So in case the member of the, if it is a member of a company, then by passing a resolution of board of directors, they will appoint any other person or representative to act as a member in the company. If it is a director, then also they can appoint any other person by passing a resolution. Such persons will have the same right to vote by postal ballot, which he represents that the body could have been exercised, or that individual member or creditor or debenture holder is trying to exercise. So डिबेंचर्स एंड क्रेडिटर होल्डर्स का भी सेक्शन 113 में ही इंक्लूडेड है रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हु इज गोइंग टू एक्ट इन द quorum in the meeting. After that, children, it talks about resolutions. Ordinary resolution, we already know simple majority 50%, but what will be the word used for special resolution? Don't use the word 75%. Always use votes casted in favor are at least 3 times in the favor of the votes casted against them. Ordinary and special resolution section 114 tells you what are the ordinary resolution, any notice which is to be given. If it is required to be passed by the votes or show of hands, at least 50% yes has to be there. For the special resolution, it shall be all those chapters where you have been doing SR has to be passed. Here is the provision of section 114 where it tells you what is the SR, how it needs to be passed. After that, there are cases under section 115 which say special notice is also required in the following cases. So you simply remember when you do appointment of auditors under 140 resolutions of the annual general meeting for the retiring auditor, and then appointing any other place in place of removed director. So director provisions are not part of your CA intermediate, they are there in the finals, but auditors you do in chapter number 10. So all these things you have to remember where special notice is required in addition to the special resolution. Is that fine? Then section 116 simply tells you any resolutions which are passed at the adjourned meeting, they will also be considered to be as if they have been passed on the date of the AGM only. 117 again tell you that all the resolutions have to be filed within 30 days of passing them, has to be filed with the registrar. Any penalty will be charged if there is any kind of default in filing the resolutions with the ROC. After that, what I wanted to do with you is section 118, a very important section, minutes of the company's meeting. So you have hold the AGM, you have held the AGMs, and now we are going to prepare a summary of these meetings. Every board meeting, every general meeting, class of the shareholders, whatever resolutions have to be passed, they have to maintain a minutes and they shall be kept 30 days of every meeting. A resolution has to be passed for maintaining the minutes of the meeting. Minutes are simply the summary, fair and correct summary of the proceedings. All the appointments made shall be included in the minutes. In case the board meeting, the name of directors shall also be present, shall also be included. Following things are not included in the minutes. What are those things which are not included in the minutes? Anything which is defamatory, anything which is immaterial, detrimental to the interest of the companies, all these things in the opinion of chairman shall not be included. Again, an MCQ based question can come. What are the matters which are not to be included in the minutes of the company's meeting? So these three things have to be remembered. And who has the discretion to decide? Chairman decides what all is to be included and not to be included in the minutes. Again, the minutes shall be kept at the RO office of the company. No document shall be advertised at the expense of the company unless it includes the matters which are related to the meeting. If any default is made, now section 118 default is also important because you're making a default, you have convened the meetings and you're not properly making the minutes, then a penalty of 25,000 rupees which can go up till the default, maximum penalty of company complying in respect of the company, the liability is 25,000 rupees and the officer in default will be 5,000 rupees. If the person is found guilty of tampering with the minutes, you're trying to do any kind of wrong thing with the minutes, then there is an imprisonment which can extend to 2 years and also penalty which can extend to 25,000 to 1 lakh. Important है ये वाली penalty, learn कर लेना, याद कर लेना, because it is a different type of thing that you're doing. Okay, you're tampering with the minutes. You must remember there can be an imprisonment, jail हो सकती है 2 years की, and minimum 25,000 to 1 lakh rupees penalties. After that, Rule 25 tells you how the minutes have to be maintained, all these provisions related to. Yes, it is non-compoundable offense, absolutely. Minutes shall be entered in the books after within 30 days of the meeting. Now, signing of the minutes is very, very important. On every page of the minute book, it shall be initialed or signed, and the last page shall also be signed and dated. Initial means you can just put your initials rather than putting full signatures on each of the page of the book of the minute book. You have to put your initials on each of the page. In case it's a board meeting, it has to be signed by the chairman of the said meeting or chairman of the next meeting. In case it's a general meeting, AGM or EGM, then within 30 days, it has to be signed by the chairman. If chairman has died, then by a director duly authorized. Again, a postal ballot meeting, a chairman will sign within 30 days in case of any death, a director duly authorized. So only in the case of board meeting, chairman can only sign either of the said meeting or the next meeting. However, in case of any other meetings or postal ballot meetings, you have authorized the directors or any other person who is duly authorized by the director can also sign. But this is not the case with the board meetings. Is that clear to everyone? And for how long the minute books have to be preserved, children? 8 years, 7 years, 9 years, permanently. For how long the minute books have to be maintained? For how long it should be kept at the RO office? You have already answered me. They shall be preserved permanently. And under the custody of whom? Under the custody of company secretary. Very important point. Clear? Section 118 is clear to everybody. Inspection of the minute books can also be done. 119 simply tries to tell you that who can inspect the minute books of the companies. So only during the business day inspection can be allowed, and within 7 working days any member who is entitled to furnish on the payment of fees can be given a copy of minutes. Again, 25,000 rupees penalty can be charged. A member who has made a request for the minutes of any meetings during 3 financial years shall be entitled to be furnished free of cost. So in the preceding 3 financial years, if you're asking, no fees shall be charged. So again, this provision is important where you're trying to remember the 3 financial years. Maintenance of the documents in electronic form, and then section 121 we have already done. MGT 15 has to be given within 30 days of the conclusion of AGM. Section 122 is nothing, it simply talks about your details of the documents to be given. Now we have done few case studies also and few of the MCQs also we have discussed. I have some more question and answers for your quick recap. Now I am going to give you the questions and we will be doing a writing practice of how to write these answers. So everybody, the first question in front of you on the screen, try reading it, understanding it. So the or choice means the similar questions can be there in the exam. So just go through the questions and try to lay down the answer. How will it be penalized? See, the AGM penalty is important. 1 mark इसका भी है. कितनी penalty आपने charge करी उसमें. Section 99 for the penalty. In the first question, it is talking about the annual returns to be filed. Directors were of the idea within 60 days of the AGM will not apply as AGM was cancelled. Even in the second case, because of the want of quorum, the meeting was cancelled and directors did not file the AGM with the registrar. Directors were of the idea within 60 days will not apply as the AGM was cancelled. What will you decide in this case? Is it talking about the annual return filings penalty or it is talking about the AGM not holding penalty? Read it carefully and answer me. Annual return, okay. Good, simple, Rajveer. Nice answer. What about others still thinking? Okay, let's see the answer to the question. So you have understood the question. They're talking about the non-filing of the annual return because the AGM has not been held. So Section 92 annual return simply tells you that within 60 days from the date when the AGM is held, it has to be filed. And if no AGM has to be held, 60 days from the date in which it should have been held. Also, it states that if the company fails to file the annual return, then the company and every officer will be liable of 10,000 rupees penalty. For every default continues, minimum 100 rupees, 100 rupees for each day, maximum of 2 lakh rupees, and 50,000 in case of officer in default. In the given case, director said that the AGM was cancelled, therefore they are now not filing the annual return. This is absolutely incorrect. Then you do your analysis and conclusion. Since the AGM has not been held within a period of 6 months from the date of closing of financial year, it should have been held, but it did not held. Therefore, the company has contravened the provisions of Section 92 for not filing the annual return, and it shall attract the penal provisions along with every officer who is in default shall be liable for the fine. 92 सबसेक्शन 4 92 सबसेक्शन 5 नहीं याद आया कोई बात नहीं बट पेनल्टी रिमेंबर होनी चाहिए 60 डेज वाली मीटिंग करोगे एंड कंक्लूजन में यू हैव टू गिव दिस analysis and conclusion that this is what is in our respect that you have done this incorrect and it should have been held within the 60 days of the date when the AGM should have been held. He has also given you the date when the AGM should have been held, that is 6 months from the close of the financial year. So from that date, you will count your 60 days and you will file the annual return. Clear, everybody? Lavanya, good try for the answer. So you don't have to write, Lavanya, that 9 months from the close of financial year. Simply tell them the date when the AGM was supposed to be held, because we don't know whether it is a new company incorporated, whether it is a gap company. So every subsequent AGM has to be held 6 months from the close of financial year. Okay, so you don't need to give these details. You can simply tell them 60 days of AGM, or if no AGM has been held, the date when it was supposed to be held. This is what Act tells us. Question number 2, everybody reads and answer me. You can raise your hands also, students. Raise your hands and answer me for the question number 2, first part and second part. Company is having its RO office in Mumbai and members are residing in Kolkata. They want to keep the registers in Kolkata. Can they keep the registers and returns in Kolkata? Ranjit, one of the director of the company, wants to inspect the register of members. Can he do the inspection? It seems as if you are opening section 88 in your books and trying to figure out the answers. Is it so? All right, let's see the answers for this one. So he simply tries to tell you whether registers have been required to be kept and maintained under Section 88 and the annual return shall be kept at the RO office of the company. If you want to keep your registers outside the place, I told you under Section 88 then at least 1/10 of the total members should be residing in that place, and also SR needs to be passed for this approval you have to take. Therefore, Techno Limited can keep the registers in Kolkata only after complying with the above provisions. That is, more than 1/10 of the members should be residing and SR has been passed. Regarding inspection, we have discussed that inspection can be done of any of the registers and index. Annual return can also be inspected of the debenture holders members without the payment of any fees. He is a director who is not a shareholder. He has no right to inspect the register of members as per the provisions of the section. Why? Because the Act simply tries to tell you that the inspection of the records can only be done by the members, debenture holders, by shareholders, beneficial owners of the company. It is nowhere allowing the directors to inspect the register of members. Clear? Everybody remembered? Kuldeep Nagar, good answer. Rajvi Ray, good answer. Framed it very nicely. Well done. All right, let's move ahead. What is the company's? Every company is required to file with the register annual return in form number MGT7. Explain the particulars required to be contained therein. Now, this is also an examination question which has come once. What are the particulars to be given under section 92 annual return? So there are so many of the particulars which are given over there. Let's have a quick recap of all the particulars in MGT7, and if it is OPC and small company, then it is MGT7A. In form number MGT7 of the annual return, following things have to be included: RO office and principal business activities of its own company as well as holding and subsidiary company. Details about its shares, debentures, and shareholding pattern. Its indebtedness means for whom it has been indebted, to whom they have to pay, members and debenture holders, along with the changes since the close of the financial year. After that, details of the promoters, directors, and key managerial personnel also has to be given. Remuneration of directors and KMPs, you have to remember meeting of the members. Now, out of these 11 items, even if you write 6 to 7 correct items, then also it's fine, but try to retain few of them. Very, very important. All right. So, foreign institutional investors, name and address, certification of compliance, penalties and punishments of the directors and officers, compounding of offences if any done, remuneration to be paid to the KMPs and directors. All these points can be mentioned. बिल्कुल ठीक कुलदीप नगर नागराजा yes 60 days from the date of AGM, that is also correct. That mention has to be given. Correct, students. Let's read another question related to annual general meeting. Shambhu Limited was incorporated on 1st April 2018. Company did not have much time to report to the shareholders, so no general meeting has been held. The company has recently appointed a new accountant who has pointed out that the company is required to hold the AGM. Please advise them the time limit for holding the first AGM. Now, this is such a simple question. If such a kind of question comes, I always call it an ice cream question. That is so easy and simple. You simply have to write the time limits. I give you 1 minute. Write down the answers for the time limit. This is very, very simple. No analysis have to be done. Straightforward question. Absolutely correct. If it is a first AGM, 9 months from the close of financial year, 15 months gap is required. First AGM has to be held on or before 31st December 2019. Registrar may for special reason extend it but not beyond 3 months. First AGM held on or before 31st December. Further, they have the power to grant the extension of time limit. Time limit between the two AGMs should not be more than 15 months. Subsequent AGM shall be held within 6 months from the close of financial year. Year of incorporation के बारे में भी लिख सकते हो, बिल्कुल सही. You can absolutely you can mention about that also. All right. Let's move ahead. Question number 5. Rijwan Limited, a listed company, is in the business of garment manufacturing and has its RO at 123N Tower, Commercial Beta Complex, Bhiwadi, Rajasthan. Company has called its 6th AGM at 3 p.m. on 22nd August 2019 at Ansal Plaza, Bhiwadi. Some of the members have opposed to call the meeting at Ansal Plaza. They have approached you and they want to know, suppose Rijwan Limited is an unlisted company and wants to call their 6th AGM at Jaipur. How will you answer? Does it make any difference? This is talking about holding of the AGM at same time and place. How will it make any difference? Very good, Navanya. Correct answer. Rajveer for the previous one. Good. All right, within same city village you can hold, that is fine. There is no condition of passing SR. Only when it is outside the another state, then only you need to have the conditions of 1/10 and as well as passing of the SR. What else? If it is an unlisted company, then what will you answer me? So in the first case, company has rightful in calling the annual general meeting. In the second case, it is an unlisted company. It can be held at any place in India if consent in writing has been taken by all the members. If consent has been taken by all the members, then the AGM can be called in Jaipur, not otherwise. Company is rightful in calling AGM at Ansar Plaza. In the second case, again, they are saying you, if the consent has been taken by all the members, then the AGM can be held. Now, it is the same answer that they have written in two places, but how you will give the answer, you will give them the provisions of Section 88. Reference has to be given regarding holding, AGM Section 96 reference has to be given of holding the AGM at any kind of place. But the consent in writing of all the members have to be taken if you're holding it at any other place. Clear? Also, that consent can be in writing in electronic mode also. All right. Question number 6. It's okay, Nagaraja. I can understand. You can now briefly give the answers. I will tell you where you have to give me the answers for the provisions and facts of the case in detail. Such kind of answers you can give me in brief also. Let's practice more question related to the notice of the meeting. Madurai Limited has issued the notice for holding the AGM on 7 November. Notice was posted on 16th October. Some of the members says that the company has not complied with the provisions with regard to the notice. It is not valid. Whether the meeting has been validly called, if there is a short form, state and explain how many days the notice is falling short. Can the delay in giving notice be condoned? Condonation of delay is possible, yes or no? It's not at all possible. You cannot have any condonation of delay in case of the notice of the meeting. Similarly, Best Limited has decided to conduct its AGM on 28 September and they had sent the notice on 9 September for which they have taken the consent from 90% of the members entitled to vote. It was not 90%, it is 95% of the members who are entitled to vote. So what will be the answer for this one? I will explain you the answer. All right, good try, Kuldeep Nagar and Nagaraja. Well done. Let's read the answer. Section 101 simply tries to tell you 21 days clear notice has to be given either in writing or by electronic mode. And while counting 21 days, the date of the meeting and the date on which the notice has been sent are both to be excluded. And also when the delivery has been made by post, such delivery shall have the effect in case the notice on the expiry of 48 hours after the letter has been posted. Once you have posted the letter, 48 hours will be counted from that date. It means the notice has been served. 21 clear days notice should be given. In the first case, they are only giving 19 clear days notice after excluding 48 hours from the date of the meeting. Therefore, the meeting is not valid and is falling short by 2 days. Companies Act has nothing to be specified regarding the continuation of delay, hence delay in giving the notice cannot be condoned. Means क्या इसकी माफी हो सकती है कि आप इसके लिए sorry बोल सकते हो. Continuation of delay means that if you are saying that there is a shortfall in the notice, so please, we want to apologize for that and give us another chance, and can we still hold the meeting? Companies Act is silent about that. It says they are not giving you any such rights. No continuation of delay is possible. AGM will not be held because the notice has not been served properly. Anyone having any kinds of doubts till here, because we have more questions in ahead of this chapter, but anyone having any specific doubts related to this chapter, so that if you want we can take up. Yes, it is absolutely correct. 2 days shortfall is there, that's fine. Let me see if we can do certain questions from here also. So if the company Avis Grocers Private closes its financial year on 31st March, when should hold the AGM for the financial year 23-24? So we say 6 months from the close of financial year, latest by 30th September 2024. Can we do the extension for this for any special reasons? Can we extend it for 3 months? So law simply tries to tell you you can extend it not more than 3 months, but if it is a first AGM, no extension is available. Okay, if you're holding the first AGM, then no extension is available. Company was incorporated on 12th July 2024. When it should be holding its first AGM? So for the first AGM, it is 9 months from the close of financial year. Incorporated on 12th July 24, therefore 31st March 25 is the close of the financial year. 9 months will be 31st December 2025. And this cannot be extended and not necessary to hold in the year of incorporation. Such kind of examples you must go through from the study material also. What is the requisition can be given under EGM by how many people? If the company is having a share capital, 1/10 of the share paid up share capital members. If it is not having paid up share capital, 1/10 of the total voting powers. Any doubt in illustration number 15? I hope you have tried this one. Within 21 days and maximum within 45 days, the meeting shall be called. The requisitionists themselves can hold the meeting within 3 months of the date, provided it is not a national holiday. If it is a national holiday, then 2nd October को नहीं ना कर सकते because it's a national holiday. Then the meeting should have been convened on some other day. Let me see if we can do certain MCQs from here also, or we have covered them. All right, any doubts from the study material, students? Anything you want to ask? Okay, then let's do more questions. Yes, Nagaraja, it can be held at any place. All right, question number 7. Om Limited has served a notice of general meeting upon its members. The following resolutions were to be considered. A resolution to increase the authorized share capital, appointment and fixing of the remuneration of Pratik as the auditor. Shareholder complained that the amount of proposed increase in remuneration was not specified in the notice. Is the notice valid? So do we need to give them the special notice about these things? Okay, Lokesh, you have a doubt in section 111. All right, we will just have a quick recap from the study material also. Don't worry. Answer this one, children. No, Rajveer says no. No is the only thing that you will write. Notice is not valid. You will not explain anything. So section 102 tells you the explanatory statement has to be given for the following cases and the nature of concern and everything has to be told. Any other facts that help us to take the business decision, it has to be clearly specified. Therefore, the information about the amount is material fact which helps us to the understanding about the business to be transacted. Also, it tells you the ordinary businesses for which no explanatory statement is required. Question number 1 relates with the special business. Notice will be treated as invalid. For the second one, it is an ordinary business. Explanatory statement is not required. However, two resolutions mentioned to be passed at the same time. Therefore, the notice of meeting is invalid. Objection raised by the shareholder is valid since the details of the items to be considered have to be mentioned under section 102 in the explanatory statement. Everybody's clear about this one? Now, Lokesh has raised a doubt in section 111, which I'm going to take from study only now because I've already taken it out from my notes. Can you tell me which page number? Section 111 over here we're having it after the posting, valid voting. Postal ballots, you all remember electronic votes, and once you have done the poll votes, it is a combination of both of them. So circulation of members' resolution and statement. Here he's simply trying to tell you board of directors enjoys the primacy in setting the agenda of the meeting. So who has the right to set the meetings? It says, okay, Nagaraja has doubt in 101. Okay, not a problem. So circulation of members, he tries to tell you that board of directors have set the agenda and members have a right. Now board of directors have already set the agenda that this is the notice and these are the resolutions that we are going to pass. Number 1, resolution A will be appointed as the director. Number 2, B will be appointed as the auditor. Number 3, auditor's remuneration will be fixed for rupees 50,000 per month. So all these resolutions we are going to discuss in the meeting. Now shareholder wants to propose a resolution, something additionally to this. Okay, so it says prerequisites of a valid requisition. Number 1, this request can be made by some members given under section 100 only, that is 1/10 of the paid up share capital holding or 1/10 of the total voting power. 2 and more copies of the said requisitions should contain the signature of all the requisitionists. So now we are the requisitionists who are having a problem. We want certain more resolutions to be included. Then at least we should be 1/10 of such members. And all the requisitionists will sign. It has to be deposited at the RO office at least 6 months before the meeting if it is a notice of resolution, and the same has to be deposited at least 2 weeks in case of other resolution. Now, what is the meaning of notice of the resolution? Number of members are same. So it says 1 is the case of, it is given under the rules actually, notice to the members. It says notice has to be given regarding the circulation of any statement. Either you are including any resolution that you want to pass, that is 6 weeks at least before the meeting. So meeting is to be held on 21st April 2021. Then you count 6 weeks before the date of the meeting. So 6 weeks, 7 days, so at least 42 days before this date you have to count the requisition has to be deposited. If it is any other case, then at least 2 weeks before this. 2 weeks means 14 days you'll have to count before this date, then you have to deposit. Whatever expenditure you are incurring has to be deposited by the requisitionists themselves. Time period, if it is not complied and AGM is held within 6 weeks, it will be considered that it has been complied with and the copy of it will be posted to all the members. Alright, and notice to members will be given, give notice to the members of every resolution which is to be moved and intended to be moved and circulate any statement with respect to the proposed resolution. ये है basically section 111 जो आपको मैंने अपने notes में 2 points में divide करके दिया हुआ है कि section 100 वाले जो लोग हैं वो इस चीज के लिए रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि हम नोटिस देना चाहते हैं मेंबर्स को कि हमारी रेजोल्यूशन प्रॉपर्ली मूव करी जाए या फिर हम सर्कुलेट करना चाहते हैं कोई और स्टेट. if they are trying to add any of additional, so there was a statement that A is appointed as director, B is appointed as an auditor, and B is appointed as the auditor at 50,000. Now they want to include one more, that is the Mr. C to be appointed as a director. So if this kind of statement they want to add, then they have to circulate and deposit it at least 2 weeks, 6 weeks. And if any changes from 50,000 they want their 45,000, then such changes shall be circulated at least 2 weeks before the meeting. ये बताना है उन्हें, circulate करना है about the resolutions, and the time period has been given for the resolutions. Okay. So if these resolutions have not been and it is just to take needless publicity, you're just trying to gain publicity from the audience, you're including the name of Mr. C, actually he's not a good person, then fine will be charged, penalty will be charged under section 111. All right, Nagaraja, what doubt you have in section 101, because it's a detailed section about notice. So I'm giving you a 5 minutes break over here. Go through all the sections once. All right, thank you, Lukesh. I'm glad. So go through all the sections once and try to figure out whatever doubts you have. After 5 minutes break, we will move ahead with certain questions more. Let's take a small break here. All right, welcome back, students. Let's quickly finish our revision. Gayatri is asking in significant beneficial owner, what is 25%? 10% understood. So 25% is something that where they're talking about your significant influence kind of thing. Okay. So he says it's not that just in case of significant beneficial owner. I'll take you to their section 89 we have already discussed. Section 90 simply tries to tell you where you're holding 10% point is clear. But if you're exercising the significant influence or control also other than your direct holding, then also it gives you the right of the becoming a significant beneficial owner. I'll show you where it is given in this study. So here you simply have to remember your 10% of the voting right, 10% of the direct holding. For significant influence, he is not using the word 25%. He is simply trying to clarify that it is the policy participation and the operating policy decisions that you are participating, having a control, not actually the joint control of these policies, but having an influence on another company. That is your significant influence. Majority stake, then they have given 1/2. Where are you talking about the 25%? Are you talking about the same significant influence only, Gayatri? I hope it's clear to you now. Then there were Ben forms that you have to remember simply exactly related to SB only. So he simply tries to tell you where holding directly or indirectly means individual will be considered as the right holding if he satisfied the shares in the reporting company is the right that you're holding in as an individual or acquiring the beneficial interest and have made a declaration to the reporting company. Indirectly is a shareholder is a body corporate HUF or a partnership entity means either I am holding individually or me and another company in which I am a shareholder, they are holding together. The onus or the duty is on the reporting company to identify an SPO and make a declaration. All right. What is important in case of an SBO and section 89 and 90 is that you have to make a declaration. You have to declare it out. Then only you will be considered the beneficial owner. Otherwise, whatever the rights, attachment, entitlements you have with respect to those shares, you will not get it. Clear hai bachcho? Fine. Shall we move ahead to our back to our questions? Yes, somebody had query relating to section 101 also. What was that? Nagaraja was asking. So section 101 is completely about your notices that we have discussed. Section 105, okay, regarding proxies. All right, once we just finish these questions and then just remind me, I'll take you to section 105. Okay, now the question number 8 in front of you. P Limited had called its AGM on 30th August 2019. Mr. Pavan has filed a complaint against the company that he could attend the meeting as the company did not serve him the notice for attending. The company provided the proof that they had sent the notice. So you need to do a spell check over here. It's proof that they had sent the notice by way of an email inviting him to attend the AGM. He alleged that he never received the email and now you have to advise whether the company has done any error in serving the annual general meeting. So here he's simply talking about the rule number 18 where we have learned about electronical mode of sending the notice. So any electronical mode has been used through any locator, resource or link you have sent the notice. At least email has been addressed properly, then it is no problem in the company's default. Company will provide an advance opportunity at least once in financial year that they can provide their email addresses and changes whatever the request has been made. and also all the records that has been updated, a fresh email ID and not from the members whose email IDs are already registered. Notice has to be sent. So we conclude that the company's obligation is satisfactory. Once they have sent the email, company will not be held responsible for transmission beyond its control. Also, if member entitled to receive the notice failed to provide any relevant email address, then it is his mistake, not the company's mistake. Therefore, the company has not done any mistake in sending the notice. Clear? This was a quite simpler one, but you have to write these 2-3 lines in order to support your answer. Now, Kurt Limited is engaged in the business of manufacturing papers. They have exposed you to ask you about the provisions of the quorum if the company has 800 members, and if the company has 6,500 members, and if the quorum if the company has 5,500 members. This is just like another MCQ based question. Quickly answer me in the chat box. If the articles has given that the quorum should be 50, what will be the answer in case of ABC? What will be the answer in case of ABC? Everyone should answer this one. I want the answer for all the 3 parts. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Think and tell me. Yes, 50 is given in the articles, but you don't have to get confused. What is written under section 103? That articles can provide for a larger number of quorum, but in case of public company, 5 personally present, 15 and 30. So if the company has 800, 5 members personally present shall be there. Quorum shall be 30 members personally present. And for 5,500, again, it shall be 30 members personally present. Since the article has provided quorum for the meeting to be 50, it will be higher of 30 and 50. मिनिमम के लिए नहीं प्रोवाइड कर सकता है, लार्जर नंबर ऑफ कोरम कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड. Is it fine for everyone? All right, now we have the last question, number 10 from the proxies. So section 105 you wanted to revise also. So we have question related to proxy. A company received a proxy form 54 hours before the start of the meeting. It refused to accept that, saying that the articles provided must be filed 60 hours before the start of the meeting. Define the proxy and discuss the provisions with the company's proxy holder. Compel the company to pay the proxy in this case. Yes, Lokesh, 5, 15, 30 is absolutely fine. But since the articles have provided for 50, so in all those cases, 5 is correct. For the other ones, it will be 50, okay? Good, Nagaraja, it is valid, but you have to explain this point. So section 105 deals with the provisions related to proxy. Any member who is entitled to vote and attend the meeting can appoint another person as a proxy. At least 48 hours before the meeting, the proxy form has to be submitted, even if the articles provide for the larger period. So articles carry 60 hours, but आपको at least 48 hours before the meeting has to be valid. Company received proxy form 654 hours before the date fixed, then it is fine. It is saying that articles में 60 hours लिखा है. No, in this case it is lying with the requirement because proxy form 48 hours before the meeting is valid even if the articles provide for the longer period. Hence, the proxy holder cannot be compelled the company to admit the can compel the company to admit the proxy. Now, this is a last question that I wanted you all to do regarding the poll meeting. So hardly there is any questions I could figure it out from section 106 to 109. So 109 is the reference question. Everybody should try answering this question. I'm giving you 1 minute. Try answering this question. Read it very carefully. Very good, Lavanya, Kuldeep. Everybody has given the correct answer for this one. Take 1 minute and try to answer. This is the last question of MGT chapters, and then after that, we will be meeting on 4th December for incorporation of companies and FEMA. In between, you have a session on 29th, I believe it is for audit and accounts of the companies. So this question with me, I would want each one of you to try writing this out. Only one answer so far. It's invalid. Okay. This is the answer that you'll write in exams. All right. So discuss the decisions of the board of directors with reference to the provisions of Companies Act. In an annual general meeting of Vrinda Limited having share capital, 80 members are personally present and by proxy holding 1/10 of the total voting power demanded for poll. So first of all, proxy is not entitled to vote in the meeting by show of hands, but proxy has the right to demand for poll meeting. Chairman rejected the request saying that the members present in person can only demand. So this is wrong. Proxy can demand for poll. In an annual general meeting during the process of poll, the members who earlier demanded for poll withdraw it. Chairman rejected the request saying that once the poll has been started, it cannot be withdrawn. Is it possible? Let's discuss. Section 109 gives you the right that the demand for poll can be done before declaring of the results or any resolution passed on show of hands. Also, the poll can be demanded by the chairman before or after the declaration of the results. Chairman on his own can also do it, or on the demand can be taken in case the company having a share capital, then at least 1/10 of the members and aggregate of sum of 1 lakh rupees or such higher amount. Now, this is the another provision of section 109. Under section 101 and the another limit of requisitionist, we have been doing the same limits of 95% of the shareholder, or it was 1/10 of the members. But under section 109, where the poll has to be demanded, the limit is if the company is having a paid up share capital, then at least 1/10 of the voting power or the shares of not less than 5 lakhs, whichever is higher, not having share capital, 1/10 of the total voting power. Now let's understand about the withdrawal of demand. The poll may be withdrawn by any person who made on demand. Hence, on the basis of above provisions, chairman cannot reject the demand for poll as it can be demanded by any person in present or proxy. Subject to the provisions of article, chairman cannot reject the request of the members for withdrawing. Why? Because it is clearly written under section 109 that once the poll has been started, once it has been done, you cannot withdraw the poll. Very good answer given by Nagaraja, Kuldeep, Lavanya, as well as again by Kuldeep Nagar. Well done. So well in time, we have completed our entire revision. Now section 105 as requested by Nagaraja. Let's have a quick recap of section 105 also, since we have done everything so beautifully. So I don't want to leave out a single question. Section 105 again talks you in detail about your proxy forms that we have discussed. But if you want, we can have a quick recap. For others also, it will be a quick revision. So proxy, I hope you have understood. Any person can demand and have the right to appoint the proxy. So this again, provisions of proxy can be appointed for at least 50 members. You can be appointed as a proxy, but together they should not be holding. SS2 you don't need to do, Nagaraja. You simply do section 105. That is only enough for you. Okay. So not holding more than 10% of the paid up share capital voting rights. So if I'm appointing you as a proxy for a shareholder who is holding 8% of the shareholder, 8% of the total paid up capital, can you be appointed as a proxy for another person also? Yes or no? If I am appointing you as a proxy for a member who is holding 8% of the share capital, can I be appointing you proxy for another person also? Yes or no? Everybody in the chat box. Yes, ma'am, but not for more than 2% of the paid up share capital, because 10% से ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता. MGT 11 is the form that we have to use. Again, the proxy will be present to entitled to vote only when there is voting by the poll. एंड 48 आवर्स वाला भी सबको याद हो गया. अभी हमने क्वेश्चन करा ही था. आर्टिकल्स कैन प्रोवाइड फॉर लॉन्गर पीरियड बट एटलीस्ट 48 hours has to be seen. You will ignore if the article is providing for larger period. And the proxy instrument has to be in writing if you're appointed. Then we had discussed about the if invitation to appoint as a proxy or one of most persons specified at the company's expense, entitled to have a notice of the message sent. Every officer who issues the invitation permits that issue shall be liable for penalty of 50,000 rupees. So proxy can be named. So company cannot stress you because you appoint this person as a proxy unless you have asked them. So the instrument in writing has to be given. If the company is, if you are sending somebody as proxy, then it's fine. Company cannot say that please appoint Mr. B as a proxy or somebody. If you have asked for the recommendation, then it's fine. Otherwise, there will be a penalty of 50,000 rupees. Provided officer will not be liable if they have given this request at the member's request. Again, MGT 11 will not be questioned if they have given sufficient reasons for appointing the proxy. Every member can inspect it within 24 hours before the time fixed, ending with the conclusion of the meeting, but you have to give the 3 days prior notice if you want to do the inspection of any of the proxy forms. That's it for section 105. This much is sufficient. You don't have to go beyond this. So thank you so much, students. I hope you have enjoyed doing a quick recap. In 2.5 hours, we have revised almost so many sections, starting from section 88 till section 121 we have gone. So I hope you enjoyed the revision and you were able to recall the provisions. So keep doing your practice, students, as much as possible. That's great, Kuldeep. That's very nice. Thank you so much, Lavanya. Thank you, Lokesh. I'm glad you enjoyed the class. That I really feel happy when you find this kind of revision helpful. So wonderful, and you all have been very good audience. Neha has a doubt. Okay, Neha, don't worry. Ask your doubt. Feel free to ask your doubt. So I hope all your doubts have been clear and still practice it more. Neha Kumari, you want to ask something? You can raise your hand if you want to ask something. Neha Kumari is saying, I have a doubt, ma'am, but she is not responding back. So I hope students, you will practice, do your writing practice also, and be very careful. You have been answering wonderfully. So make sure that you write in the paper also well. Don't just skip your provisions. Provision is must then. Yes, you can speak. You can raise your hands. Nagaraja, you wanted to speak? I can't hear you, Nagaraja. Your voice is not
Audible?
audible. Yes, now on.
Oh, madam. Ma'am, in public company, unlisted public company, it has 3,500 members. How many in an annual general meeting held in quorum? How much members, madam, personally participated?
Personally participated. So number of members are how many?
3,500 unlisted public company.
Mm-hmm. 15. Again, the limit that we have done. 15 members will be fine.
Madam, but BOS in MCQ answer is 40.
Okay. You share the screenshot with me next time and let's have a discussion on that.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yes, Kuldeep, command of every section is must, but it is not mandatory. If you don't remember a section, you can avoid the section. It's not compulsory. Okay. Yes, Neha, you wanted to say something.
मैम कैन आई स्पीक इन हिंदी?
Yes, sure.
ओके, थैंक यू मैम। मैम मुझे ना एक्चुअल में ना सिग्नेचर को लेकर के डाउट था। जो आफ्टर जो मीटिंग्स के बाद जो सिग्नेचर करते हैं, वो एक तो
जो
चेयरमैन
मिनट्स में
करते हैं। हाँ
मिनट्स में
हाँ हाँ, वो एक तो चेयरमैन करते हैं और या फिर दो डायरेक्टर करते हैं। एक मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर होना जिसमें से कंपलसरी होता है, यही है ना मेन
अगर
प्रोविजन?
बोर्ड मीटिंग है तो चेयरमैन करेगा, उस मीटिंग का चेयरमैन नहीं है तो नेक्स्ट मीटिंग का चेयरमैन करेगा। बट अगर शेयर होल्डर्स की मीटिंग है तो उसमें चेयरमैन करेगा, यदि चेयरमैन नहीं है तो डायरेक्टर जिसको ड्यूली ऑथराइज करेगा वो करेगा। मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर की भी बात नहीं है, मैंडेटरी नहीं, जिसको वो ऑथराइज करेगा वो करेगा।
ओके ओके, थैंक यू सो मच मैम, इसी को पॉइंट पे लेकर के डाउट था।
ऑल राइट, वेलकम। ऑल राइट, thank you so much students. All right, thank you sir, thank you for all your help. We are done with the session. Thank you sir. Yes, yes, thank you.